Another very important thing to be noted about with regard to this verse is that when we say that Hazrat Isa alayhi salatu wasalam is mentioned in a hadith to come again, she is mentioned only metaphorically. It will not be he himself, but someone in his name will come. Yet he is referred to by the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam as Nabi. When we say that, they say you're wrong. It is not the one to come after him who is referred as Nabi. It is the one who was before him, who was already made a prophet. Then we say, all right, what about Imam Mahdi? Is he not Ummati Nabi? Nabiullah? Muti Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam? They say, no, he's just Imam Mahdi. All right, then how did he fulfill this misaq? The misaq says, when someone who is to come, a prophet will come after you, you must believe in him as well as help him. So he only helped the prophet before him, Jesus Christ. Where was the prophet mentioned by him, who was to come after him, and how did he fulfill his promise? Do they want us to believe that all the previous prophets from whom God took this covenant, they fulfilled their covenant, except Muhammad Rasulullah? Na'uz billah min zalik, he failed to fulfill his covenant. It's impossible. He had to fulfill, but where has he fulfilled? Show us. We can point at Imam al-Mahdi and say, Al-Imam al-Mahdi is a subordinate prophet. And he cannot be anything else. And when he pointed at Al-Imam al-Mahdi, he fulfilled this promise. Because Al-Imam and Al-Mahdi has two constituents, two components. Number one, Al-Imam, which means the leader who is appointed by God, no other. And the second, Al-Mahdi, he is guided by God. Unless he is revealed to, unless he is spoken to, how can he be guided? So Al-Imam, appointed by God, and Al-Mahdi, guided by God, these are the two components. And strangely enough, the other Muslims who oppose us have to accept these two conditions. Because when we inquire from them, tell us what sort of Imam Mahdi would it be? Will he be elected by people or appointed by some Muslim government? They say, no, certainly not. Neither will he be elected, nor will he be appointed. He would be made by God himself. Okay, that's fine, very clear. And what about Mahdi? Will he take his hadayat from ulama and sit before them to get his guidance from the ulama, to understand those parts in which they disagree? He said, no question. Al-Mahdi is the one who is guided by God. So then we ask them, now define prophethood. What are the two prerequisites of a prophet? Number one, that he is made Imam by God himself. Number two, that he is guided by Allah himself. And this is exactly the definition of Nabuwwat found elsewhere in the Holy Quran, where the Holy Quran speaks of prophets after prophets and then says, wo nikalein ayat, Surah Anbiya mein hai, I'll show you, which says that these are Aimma, Ja'alnahum Aimmatan Yahduna bi Amrina. Aimmatan, remember, is the plural of Imam. Yahduna bi Amrina means Al-Mahdiyin. It can't be translated in any other way. So the Holy Quran speaks of everything. Al-Bayyanat, what a beautiful Bayyanat they are. Doesn't leave even the smallest possibility of doubt left in the Holy Quran. ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. If somebody is muttaqi, there is no problem in understanding the message of the Quran And with reference to this verse which I have just quoted, it becomes very clear what Imam Mahdi would be and where he is mentioned. He is mentioned among the prophets. And the prophets of Allah before Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam are spoken of as A'immatan Yahduna bi Amrina. And Jalnahum. Nobody else elected them. We made them A'immah. Have you got?
حضور, you mentioned it. It's وَجَعَلْنَاهُمْ أَئِمَّةً يَهْدُونَ بِأَمْرِنَا لَمَّا صَبَرُوا.
No, but I mean the verse, the reference, but you better start.
Okay.
So this means that when Hazrat Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said Imam Mahdi would come, he did not say it from himself. It was based on two verses of the Quran. Number one, the definition of Imam Mahdi was made clearly in the Holy Quran that it applies only to prophets. Number two, he had to fulfill his promise to God, his covenant with God. So when he prophesied of the coming of Al-Imam al-Mahdi, he absolved himself in the sight of Allah as having delivered the message and having fulfilled his mishap. Before this, there is a mention, long history of prophets which are mentioned. So we know what the Holy Quran is talking about. So I better read a few verses before. Just a few to give you a taste of what's going on. وَنَجَّيْنَاهُ وَلُوتًا إِلَى الْأَرْضِ Ibrahim, نَجَّيْنَاهُ التي باركنا فيها للعالمين ووهبنا له إسحاق ويعقوب نافلة وكلًا جعلنا صالحين وجعلناهم أئمة يهدون بأمرنا وأوحينا إليهم فعل الخيرات. Wahi is an essential of Al-Mahdi. And Imamat is essential to a Mahdi. So the definition of the prophets mentioned is, kulluhum were first Imam and number two Al-Mahdi. Al-Mahdi means to whom we send our Wahi. So how could Imam al-Mahdi be different from that against the definition of the Quran?